let's just say I wanted to buy the deal. What would be my next steps? I would take the offering memorandum and the financials that the broker gives to us, and I would send that over to different lenders so that they can underwrite it. What that means is I want to know what leverage or what loan that this thing can possibly have on it. The max leverage, meaning you're going to have a debt service coverage ratio, which is what these lenders are going to be looking for to figure out how much of the net NOI, the net operating income, can be used to service the debt or to pay the debt. In other words, service the debt is the financial term that they use, but you don't need to know all the lingo. Just know that you need to know how much the net operating income can be used to pay back the monthly loan, the amount, whatever that amount is. They're going to annualize that over 12 months, over the year, and then you're going to get whatever, how much that total number is. So let's just say, for example, the total annual payments on a loan for that property would be $500,000. All right, and your net operating income is $1 million. That's income minus expenses equals net $1 million. You have $500,000 that can be used for debt. So now you have a profit of $500,000. You got the math? So lenders are going to go and do that based on that math, for example, and they're going to figure out what the debt service coverage ratio is. So for lenders, a 1.25 minimum is what they're looking for as a ratio to cover the debt. So 1.25 means if that loan was $1 million and you netted $1 million, you would have a debt service coverage ratio of 1.00. But now the loan is $500,000 and you have an income of $1 million, you have a debt service coverage ratio of 1.50. Okay? Now what this means is that a lender is going to say, okay, the higher this ratio is from 1.00, the more favorable or the more money we can lend you, the more debt that this property can support or this property that can pay back. So that's what I would do. And then from there, I would back into the deal and figure out, okay, how much can I possibly offer or buy this property for, knowing all those numbers, and how much cash flow do I want to have after I pay back everything. What is going to be my cash flow out of pocket that I'm going to be pocketing? Okay, and then that's where you figure out how much you're going to offer and what your terms are for the loans, because you need to figure out what type of loan structure you want based on the business strategy that you're trying to execute on this property. Look, every property has a business strategy. You're going to execute. You're going to manage this thing. It's a business. You're going to be working this business. It doesn't just sit there doing nothing. You have to be actively doing something with this to keep it going and to drive the equity and to increase the business valuation, which is the property valuation. And that's what I would do. That's how I would do it. That's the beginning stages. So I have a whole list of lenders that I would send this to, and then we'll figure out how much money and what are the loan terms that can be put on this, and we'll just explore those different numbers and options and figure out, okay, what's it going to take, and how desperate is the seller to sell. Okay, then we look at the comps on the other areas of the price per unit, comps of all the surrounding properties that got sold. What's the average? And then we stay within that ballpark figure, factoring also the type of quality of unit and how much value add that we have to do on this property. Because maybe those units are really old, and the average, let's just say the average is $160,000 a unit, and the units on the here are very, very old. It's probably not worth 160 grand. It's probably worth 145 grand, because you got to put, 10 grand to bring it up to the average, 160,000. Okay, compared to a newer property with a newer units, floors, countertops, cabinets, fixtures, lighting, appliances. Okay, you get my drift? So we gotta look at all of those pieces and figure out what the asking price is so that we know how to ask intelligently. But once we line up the lending part, then we know exactly how much to ask and where our numbers can kind of roughly be. And that's how we go about doing it.